There she goes. Yo, peeps. Hi, Rach.
I've managed to get it so you can hear us, but we can't hear you, and I will change it later. I don't want to risk.
As long as you can hear us.
Everything else is perfect. We've got music. Jen's got a new white mat instead of flowers for 21 years.
New mat. Woo woo. He wants me to blend in, I know, snazzy or what?
Merry Christmas. It doesn't matter so much now if it's not quite straight because you can't really see it.
No, it's good.
Good work, right?
It's good. We've just done a smashing flex number 2. Right back from in the day. It was good. Had some funky planks in there with tree plank, wasn't it? It was good. Enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm not going to ask you too much about how your day's been because I can't hear you. But good thumbs up. One up, one down. Thinking about it. Both down.
This is how you have to get out at the moment because I'm not quite.
Look at this.
Sorted it.
When I came in, I was like, what? I was like, I'm going to burst through the curtain. Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be... And popped in. Popped in through the curtain. So we're doing Chill 11 this evening, which is a nice one because I remember putting a few different poses in this one. We've got horse pose and we've got rabbit, which we don't often have. What else do we have in there? Yeah, there's a few different ones which we don't do a lot of, which is nice. Balancing praying crow pose as well, which is always fun. You feeling fit and well? No aches, no pains, nothing like that? Fabulous. That's what I like to hear. I've still got 2 minutes to rock and roll. I might start Instagram. Hey guys, welcome to Chill number 11, and welcome to Rise if you've not been before. So we're going to get started in about a minute and a half. So if you've got a mat to hand, you don't have to have a mat. You might want to grab a brick or a strap of some description as well, or something along those lines. So a strap, you could use something like a tea towel or a belt, anything which is going to extend the length of your arms, really. Always useful, things like forward folds, where you can wrap it around your toes. Similarly with a block, these aren't meant to be torture devices. You could use a cushion, a rolled up towel or anything like that just to sometimes lift yourself up a little bit in poses, can make it a bit more accessible. So if you've got any of those nearby, that might be a good recommendation. And we're going to start off in a wide leg child's pose. So if you wanted to head on there a little bit early, then we've got about 45 seconds to go. If you've got, if you want to click on the tunes, you can get some tunes involved for Chill as well. You go to the website online. Where to, Chrissy? Where do you want me to move it to? There you go, it's gone. He wants me to move my brick.
Oh no, it's still sliding shot.
There we go. Pussy pants, I might need that. Right, folks, come on down. Super happy to see you all here for our Chill session. Looking forward to this. We've got about 10 seconds to go, so you can come on down into a wide-legged child's pose. I'm just going to wait till we go that countdown. Hi everyone, welcome to Chill number 11. Jen here, and we're at Rise Yoga, and we're going to be doing a nice slow flow class tonight. We've got knees out wide. We're going to take a child's pose, wide-legged child's pose. We've got a block and a strap if you've got anything like that to hand. I was just saying to the people in Zoom, what have you, that it's quite nice to have these props for this Chill class. We get a bit more time in the poses, so it means that we can really feel into the postures, and you can use those props to support the body in different places. So if you've got anything like that to hand, a rolled-up towel or a tie, a belt, anything like that, that's really useful to have hold of. Okay, so wide leg child's pose then, a really super way to release a bit of stress and fatigue out the body. If you take the knees wide, it's more accessible than having the knees together, so it's a good place to start off with. Bringing the big toes to touch and just allowing your arms To reach forwards, fingertips reaching towards the front edge of your mat, you can drop the elbows right down onto the ground and you just let the forehead rest easy on the floor here. Another quite nice option is to bend the elbows, bringing the hands into a prayer pose behind the back of the neck. This is lovely stretch out through the triceps and the upper arms. So super nice to see you all here in our chill class. Hopefully your day has been a good one. Rounding it off here with our chill session, just allowing our bodies to breathe, to move, and to release. So allowing the hips to become heavier with each exhale that we take. Breathing space in between the vertebrae, into the shoulders, into the chest. Just letting all the facial muscles soften. Almost like they're sliding down towards the floor. Just having a quick scan through the body if you notice any areas which are feeling a little bit tight, a little bit achy. See if you can use the breath here to send your inhale into those spaces. So we can use the breath to release a bit of tension. We can use the breath to find strength. We can use the breath to soften and let go. It's a wonderful tool to have in the arsenal. It can be really calming on the body if you find yourself in a position of frustration or angst or worried for any reason. So letting the hips stay nice and heavy here. And just releasing the arms back down towards the earth, stretching the fingertips forwards. So we're going to take a lateral bend in our child's pose now. So the aim here is to still keep the hips nice and heavy. As you take that breath in, as we breathe out, we're going to walk our hands over towards the left-hand side of our mat. And depending on how your spine is feeling today and how the hips are feeling, you might be able to come quite far over, or you might just be off-centre. Either is fine. So feeling that lovely length occurring through the right-hand side of the body here. So it's tempting to lift the right butt cheek off the heel, but I want you to really press down there. So we find that connection through the hips and heels. If you wanted a bit more stretch out through the arms, however, you could press into the fingertips. So that activates the shoulder muscles a little bit more. So if you've had a long time sat at a desk, and you wanted to release the upper arms and shoulders, that would be a nice modification to take. Or alternatively, if you want a little bit of a deeper stretch, you could take the right hand and just pop it on top of the left. That just takes the stretch deeper into the side body and all the way down your right arm. Just give me another 3 breaths here. If your mind is still flitting around on what you've been doing today or what you've still got to do today, just see if you can bring the focus to your breath. Nice steadiness to the breath. Sometimes it can help to count. Usually people breathe in for about 3 or 4 and out for about 3 or 4, but see how it feels for you. You might be slightly different, and that's good. Okay, on that next inhale, I want you to release the hands and come back through centre. And then as you exhale, let's switch sides. Take it over towards the right-hand side. And again, any modification here that you'd like to take, you can stretch into the upper arms by pressing down through the fingertips, or you might pop the left hand on top of the right. But keep the forehead down on the earth so the back of the neck stays supported. And keep the hips nice and heavy. Just taking a soft release into the spine, into particularly the lumbar region of the spine. But as you breathe in, you'll feel the upper back swell as well as a result of that dilation through the lungs. Taking another 2 breaths. Remember to keep that count if you find that your mind is wandering. And then as you take your next exhale, coming back to centre, and let's release from those hips a little bit. Start to move slowly up towards your tabletop position. That's it. So let's start to warm up properly through the spine. Take the hands underneath the shoulders, and with your toes you can have them tucked or you can have the toenails down on the ground. I'm going to tuck my toes today just for fun. So pointer fingers facing forwards, I'm really squeezing the upper arms in together. So I'm getting that external rotation through the shoulders. At the same time, I'm going to draw my belly button in towards my lower back. So I'm finding that engagement through the centre. As I inhale, I'm going to tilt my pelvis back. I'm going to drop the belly down so you get that stretch out through the abs. And we're going to take a lift up at the chest here. So keep those shoulders heading down the back, and then as you exhale, rounding through the spine. So this can be a fab pose for improving your posture. So really tucking the chin down towards the chest, and then inhaling, starting to lift the chest once more through the upper arms. Awesome. Exhaling, rounding through the spine. So really coming back towards that breath again. It's a good pose as well, or a good flow, should I say, for emotional release. You're feeling a bit emotion at the moment. Just enjoy this little ripple and roll along your spine. Breathing as much space in between the vertebrae as you can. And then releasing one more time back into your tabletop. So we're going to work into down dog now. So make sure that the feet are about hip distance apart and the hands are underneath the shoulders. If you find down dog too tough, then you can just stay in your table pose, really actively pressing down into the fingertips and squeezing in through the belly. Okay, if you want to have a go at lifting the knees off the ground or maybe just floating the hips to the ceiling, you can take lots of knee bend in your down dog, particularly with it being the first down dog of the session. Let the head dangle down, maybe even give the head a little shake out from like you're shaking no. So left to right. Again, think about pressing down to that second knuckle and the fingertips. And then maybe starting to straighten out one leg at a time. It might be you want to take a few breaths as one leg straight and one leg bent. And after a few breaths, swap it over. So we're letting the chest melt down towards the thighs. And everybody's down dog's going to look different. So it's more to do with how you feel in this pose than what it looks like. Obviously, there's a few pointers. Same with the tabletop. We want to be squeezing the upper arms together, finding length through the legs, length through the spine, allowing that heaviness to occur through the head as I draw down towards the earth. Well done. All right, take a look towards the thumbs. If you're in tabletop, come up onto the toes just a minute as you walk towards the thumbs. And let's find a halfway lift. So we're taking the hands to the shins. Nice flat back. Well done, everyone. Squeezing in through the belly and then releasing all the way down and just dangling here in this forward fold. So we're going to start with a standing balance, a standing knee lift. So if you're feeling a little bit wobbly and you want to move towards a wall and hold on to the wall, then that's okay. You can do that. But for now, just let's enjoy hanging out upside down. If you want to take a little sway around here in your forward fold, you can certainly do that. If you wanted to keep the legs a little bit straighter, then that's fine. You might want to take the hands around the ankles or around the back of the calves if you're a little bit higher. Anything which feels nice, getting that blood flowing to the upper extremities. So as we're coming up into a standing position, we're going to take it nice and slow so we don't get dizzy. So I want you to squeeze in through the belly, and I want you to trace the fingers up the shins, past the knees, keep that belly squeezed in, all the way up. So we're moving slowly so as not to get too dizzy. And then taking a little roll through the shoulder blades. Nice work. All right, let's start on the right foot. So big toe, little toe, heel. Standing somewhere in the sort of front middle of your mat. And lifting up nice and tall. So we're going to step back into a lunge in a minute. So you don't want to be too far back on the mat. So when it feels like you've got your balance, maybe take that left leg into the air. You can take a basket around your front shin. And really squeeze that left knee in towards your chest. So if you can drop the shoulders down the back, try if you can to straighten out this right leg. But I understand that if you need to, for balance, need to bend it, then that's fine. But we're looking to find as much lift as we can here. So it's really therapeutic for lower back pain, this pose. So if you can find that squeeze through the belly, you're going to find that strength through the back body there as well. So it's a good one for stretching out the hips, particularly the hip flexors. Are we ready? We're going to take a step back into a high lunge. So we're going to release that left foot, inhale, and exhale, back we go. So we're going to take that left knee in line with the left hip and left ankle, and we're going to drop the hips down. Right? If you need to take the knee down at this point, you can do, but we are going to head down there in a sec. So if you can keep it lifted for now in this high lunge, we're going to take a twist. Inhale, sweep the arms high. Right knee is over right ankle. We're going to extend the left arm forward and the right arm back. So if you can, see if you can start to move the chest over towards the right-hand side. So it's not just a case of moving the head. I want you to see if you can think about extending the belly button around and keeping the arms active as well. So trying to stack the right knee over the right ankle, and you'll really feel this in this left hip flexor. That's it. Well done. Give me another breath here, and then I'm going to move back to center. Inhale. And exhale, floating back through center. Well done. We're going to drop down towards the ground with that back knee. So floating the left knee down. You can keep the back toes tucked if you want, or you can keep the knee, the toenails down, whichever one works for you. Okay, so we're going to press the hands here. We're going to interlock the hands into a little basket on top of the right thigh. Now, if you want to shuffle that left knee back because you feel like you can take a bit more depth in this pose, then feel free. So we're going to create a little bit of a press down on this right knee. And we're going to sink the hips down towards the earth. So again, you're getting that lovely stretch out through the front of the hips. This is where we create lots of, or store lots of tension. Lots of emotion in the hips. So finding that nice tall shape through the spine. We call this horse pose. Again, you can release the back toes if you find that it's more comfortable. We're going to be moving into a lateral bend from here, into a side horse pose. It might be at this point you want to grab your brick. We'll see how we go. All right, one more breath. Inhale. And exhale. Just take the hips back a little bit so you get that release through the left leg. So just giving yourself a little bit of release. What we're going to do is we're going to take the the right hand down towards the right hand side. And we're going to take this left arm up and over. So when you're ready, sink back down into that stretch so you can feel that left hip flexor. Take the right hand down, inhale up with the left arm. Again, you could take a block underneath this right hand if you wish. Exhaling all the way over. Now it might be that your fingertips touch down on the ground. That's not what you're aiming for though. I want you to think about stretching out. Really reaching and lifting. Try not to close the chest down towards the floor. Perfect. For 3. Nice. Close the eyes. Just check out how that balance is doing. We've got gate pose next. 2. And 1. Good stuff. Inhale to rise up. And walking the hands around towards the long left side of your mat, we're going to pivot on this left knee. So you've got the left foot shooting out behind you now, and the right foot nice and long in line with your hips. Now if you can bring these right toes up towards the ceiling, again, that's going to activate this right leg. You'll feel that nice deep stretch in here. So we'll go the opposite way first. So we stretched out our left side. So this time we're going to stretch out our right side. So it's the left fingers that come down onto the brick or the floor. Inhale, lift up with the right arm, and exhale, reaching across, floating your way down to wherever you feel comfortable. You can always take this left hand onto the hip as a bit of extra support if that is preferable for you. But again, try and think about lifting the chest up towards the ceiling. Right toes to the sky. Lovely. For 3, 2, 1. Nice. Inhale, come back through center. Take the hands down. Release the right knee to the floor and just shuffle your way around to the front of your mat. All right. Well done, folks. Let's go on the other side. Find down dog. Inhale, lift the sit bones. Stretch out, release out. Maybe give the little hips a shake, the head a shake. And then look into the thumbs once more. Off we go. Second side. You can walk forwards. You can hop forwards. Find a halfway lift. Exhale to release. This time we're going to stand on the left leg. When you're ready, soften the knees. Inhale to rise. Bring the hands into the heart center just for a moment. Okay, you ready? Left foot grounds, big toe, little toe, heel. Finding that lift and taking a basket around the right knee this time. So really firing up this quad on this left leg. So we're building strength and toning this left standing leg. So really drawing this right knee in, shoulders back and down, squeezing onto the tummy so that we're not taking this lean back. That's it. Dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Well done. For 3, 2, maybe close the eyes if you want a little bit of a challenge. And 1, extend away, find your high lunge. Okay, so if your high lunge is too much, just take it to a low lunge straight from the off. Stack this left knee over the left ankle, really trying to lengthen out this back leg if you can. And from there, taking our twist. Inhale, arms high. This time, exhale, taking the right arm forwards and floating the left arm behind. So we're getting, again, that sensation of twisting through the torso, moving the belly button around to the left-hand side rather than just turning through the head. Again, keep pressing through that back heel. Arms are active. Deep breaths in. Try to avoid leaning forwards too much. So focusing on strengthening the back body here as well. Well done. For 3. Maybe even taking the gaze all the way to that backhand if you're feeling quite stable. 2. And 1. Good. Inhale, come through center. Well done, everyone. Doing really well. Float the hands down to the ground. Drop the back knee down. Let's take horse pose. So untuck or tuck the toes, you choose. Inhale to lift. Hands into a basket and pressing onto your left knee. So if you can't feel this, as you drop your hips down, maybe shuffle that right knee back a little bit more. We just want to be aware of this left knee as well. We don't want it to come into center, so it's quite good to have the hands here in order to stabilize it. So dropping the hips down nice and low. Keep pressing into the toes and the heel. Maybe feeling the balance a little bit more as you close your eyes. Just really highlights how hard your body is actually working in these poses. Well done. Are you ready for that side horse? Inhale. Exhale, release any tension, melt it down away from the body. Okay, inhale to rise up. Just a minute, just while you give it like a little stretch out. So remember, it's the left hand that's going to come down towards the floor, or if you've got the brick, just grab my brick so I can show you. Or indeed, anything that's nearby, a book, whatever you've got to hand. Okay, so using a prop here on this side if you want. Inhale, arms up on the right hand side, and exhale, left hand comes down, opening up through the right side of the body this time. Really deepening into that stretch, looking over underneath that right armpit. So if you sit at a desk for long periods of time, these side bends are wonderful for lengthening out those supportive muscles. Really nice for stretching out the shoulders as well. 1 more breath here, and then we're going to have a little go at gate pose. I nearly said boat pose then, don't panic. Inhale. And exhale, squeeze, come back to center. Take the hands down, just give yourself that extra level of support, okay? And walk the hands around to the long right side of the mat. So you're pivoting on that right knee again, so the toes are coming out behind you. And then I want you to extend away with that left foot. So bringing the toes to the sky, we're going to lift up through the torso, so that right leg is underneath the right hip, and it's the right hand that's going to come down. Again, you can grab your brick if you need to. Left arm lifts, inhale. And exhale, slowly starting to melt down. So you could put your right hand on your calf, just to give you that extra bit of support if the hand doesn't want to come down to the floor. So it's less about touching the floor and more about feeling that openness to the body. Quite often you'll see people trying to reach the floor and doing this, sticking the bottoms out and closing the chest. So don't worry if you're all the way up here, if that is your side bend. Love it. Enjoy it. Well done. Perfect stuff for another 3, 2, and 1. Good. Inhale, squeeze and lift. Drop the hands to the floor, bend that left knee, and take a little wiggle round to the front side of your mat. All right, let's take a kneeling twist. Bring the knees together, drop down onto the heels. If that's uncomfortable for you, pop a cushion between the hips and the heels. No problem there. And we're just going to take a little rotation around to the right-hand side. So you can take the arms into the air for this if you like. Inhale. As you exhale, float the left hand to the right knee and take the right hand out behind you. Try to avoid taking the hand too far out because you're going to get that spine that leans. We want to stack the spine. So one vertebra sat on top of the other. And again, using your breath here, allowing yourself to rotate. Taking the gaze over to the right somewhere. Maybe it comes all the way behind you, maybe it doesn't matter. And then exhaling your way back through center and taking the same on the other side. Inhale. Exhale, right hand, left knee. Taking the left hand out behind you, sit up tall. Exhale, round we go. So really thinking about the spine and what's happening here, working into this lower lumbar region, thoracic region, and the cervical region at the top. Trying to find as much mobility here, really important for as you go through life, finding more mobility in the spine, keeping it functional, keeping it nice and healthy. Okay, come back round through centre there. Awesome stuff. Now from here we're going to take a melting heart pose. So it's a little bit like child's pose, but we've got the hips above the knees rather than sat down onto the heels. I want you to extend the arms out in front of you. And we're going to bring the forehead down in puppy pose first of all, and then we'll see if we can get into melting heart from there. So we're going to let the forehead drop down between the upper arms, pressing hard into the fingertips, releasing the shoulder blades away down the back. So puppy pose, if you want to make this a little bit stronger, grab your cushion or your brick and pop your hands on that instead. Just letting, as you drop the chest between the arms, you get that extra stretch out now because the arms are lifted. If you can, either with the brick or with the hands flat on the floor, we're going to melt the chest down towards the earth and take the chin onto the mat instead. So you're gazing long out in front of you. So this really allows the chest to melt down towards the earth. Really wonderful stretch out through the front body, around the upper arms and shoulders. So you can make this quite active and really quite deep if you take your brick underneath the hands and then take the chin down to the mat. Really strong pose. It's good for correcting a roundness of the spine. So if you feel like you've been sat hunched over a desk or a computer during this lockdown period, then this is a nice one for you. So any variation of your melting heart or your puppy pose for another 3. Just chilling out here. 2, get that wonderful stretch out through the belly as well. And 1, well done. Pressing into the hands. We're going to take a child's pose, but with the knees together this time. So it's a bit more challenging because we need that flexibility through the spine. So drop the hips towards the heels and then sweep the arms around behind you. So if your forehead doesn't come down towards the floor, again, you can grab your cushion or your brick and you could pop your head on that. If you're okay with that. If you haven't got a brick or cushion, just take the knees a little bit wider. No drama there. You can bring the forehead down to the mat and you can take the hands onto the feet. You could even interlock the hands by the soles of the feet. And just enjoy that lovely sensation. I always think you look like a little bit of a pebble here. But you can feel that space gently working into the upper part of the back. Maybe taking a slightly deeper breath, feeling that real rounding and that lift. Just keep that breath flowing, keep the mind focused. That's a good thing about you. You can't really think about anything else when you're doing it because you're concentrating so much on other stuff. Okay, 1 more breath here. Releasing the hands if you have the bounds and inhaling your way back up to kneeling. Okay, we're going to have a go with camel pose. So coming all the way up into a kneeling position, making the knees underneath the hips. Now, you can start off with a nice little flowing camel, taking the left hand down to the left heel and lifting up with the right arm. You could even tuck the toes if you wanted so that you get that less of a distance to travel. And then we could flow around to the other side. So taking the right hand to the right heel, lifting up, let the gaze travel towards the fingertips if that feels okay through the neck. And just switching sides, flowing with the breath. Really nice opening through the quads, through the fronts of the hips. Pressing the hips forwards by engaging the back body, so squeezing the glutes. And you can carry on flowing here for another few breaths if you wish. If you wanted to have a go at camel, or even just a deeper back bend, you could take the hands with the little fingers together, so pointing down the back and squeezing the elbows together, and then taking that exhale and that supportive back bend. Another option is to take the thumbs together with the fingers facing up, which gives a little bit more in terms of challenge through the upper arms, so you could have a go at that variation. Or if you know that you're quite comfortable with camel, you can have the toes tucked or untucked, taking the hands down to both heels, and just really working into that lovely extension again through the front body. So let the head rest where it feels comfortable and supported. You don't want to feel any tension through the neck. Just breathing into your shoulders. Trying not to compress the lower part of the spine, but really lift and lengthen through the spine. 2 more breaths here. It's quite strong, so we're not going to stay here for too long. And we've got places to go, people see, haven't we? Inhale, rocking up. Fantastic, well done. Tuck the toes from here and walk the hands between the legs. So we're lifting up onto a toe stand. So the balls of the feet are down, but the knees can come out a little bit wider for this one. Now you can bring the hands right towards the toes, so the arms, unless you've got shorter arms, in which case you could use a brick. Okay, otherwise the fingertips are down. Now if you're feeling okay, what you could do is take the hands to the heart center. So this is our lifted crow pose, or praying crow. Okay, in this little toe stand balance, we could then, if it feels all right, start to take the gaze up towards the ceiling. So again, feeling the heart lift. Maybe just letting the knees open out a little bit more, so you're working into the inside of the thighs quite a lot here. Feeling the breath moving up and down the spine, letting the shoulders be nice and heavy. Again, if you're feeling too wobbly, use your brick. Another option would be to put it underneath the heels, so you're not getting that sensation of moving around too much. Okay, final pose in this little section is rabbit pose. So from your position with hands in heart center, we're going to bring the hands down. We're going to take the knees to about hip distance apart, and then just take the feet in line with the knees, okay? From here, we're going to float the forehead back down to the earth, and we're going to take the hands around and hold on to the feet. So we're pressing the sit bones back, and we're using the arms to draw on the feet. So you're really pulling on the feet. So you get that lovely sensation through the lower back. Just breathing into your rabbit pose. Again, a nice flexion for the spine. You can come almost right onto the crown of the head if you like. So you get that lovely stretch through the back of the neck. Just start to fire the calf muscles up a little bit though, I have to say. Just because we've got the feet flexed so much. So we're just going to take another 2 breaths, and then we'll move on. Alright, well done guys. Releasing the hands, inhaling, lifting up, and just stretching out. One leg out behind, give it a little shake. And then the other one, give it a little shake. Okay, find tabletop and then extend the arms forwards. We're going to take some hip rolls. Nice release for the lower part of the back here. Let's go. Inhale, rolling round. Dropping the hips to the floor. And then to the back of the mat. Nice little circles, nice big circles. Whatever feels good. Rocking around the other way. Nice work. So really tuning into the breath again. Letting the breath guide you through the movement if you can. We're going to soften down into crocodile next. Maybe a figure of 8 if you're feeling fancy. Okay, taking the weight forwards, allowing the shoulders come over the elbows and the wrists, and then lowering down in this sort of kneeling plank. So a bit of upper body strength work there. Softly lowering down to the mat. I'm just going to shuffle back a little bit. I seem to have dived forward on my mat. We're going to bring the left ear down onto the floor, and you can extend the arms down by the side body. Now, if you prefer to, you can always make a little pillow with the hands and just rest the left ear on the hands. So it's up to you. You can bring the big toes to touch and just let the heels drop out to the side. And then just let the breath fill the back body as you soften into your crocodile. As I was saying before about rounded spines, if you suffer with any sciatica, crocodile pose is a nice release for the back. It allows you to almost reset the spine. A lot of people like sleeping in this position. It, in fact, promotes sleep being in this position. So let the blood pressure lower as well. So if you've got a high blood pressure, this is one of the poses which might work for you. I like to feel the belly as it moves into the abdomen, into the lungs, as it lifts me off the ground a little bit. Just close your eyes, feel that breath moving in, moving out. For another 3, 2, and 1. Good stuff. Come back through centre. Okay, we're going to take a locust, but we're not going to be so daring as to take both sides at once. We're just going to take single-sided locust. So you can either have your hands down by your torso, or you could take them out in front of you, whatever you feel like you're taking today. So we're going to take a lift up of the right arm and the right leg to start off with. So trying not to rock onto the left side. We're going to take that breath in and then start to float up. Point the right toes if you can, and just start to lift up through the right arm and through the right leg. Keeping the chest nice and square towards the mat, and then exhaling to lower down. And then going on the other side. So you can keep the right hand down on the floor, lifting up with the left leg and left arm. Nice work. Squeezing into that back body there. Pointing the toes, finding length, and then releasing back down. Taking crocodile on the other side, let the right ear come down towards the ground this time. Maybe making a pillow again with the hands if that's more comfortable, or getting a block or towel or something underneath the side of the head. And you can play around with the feet as well. If you want to turn the toes out and bring the heels in this time, you just get that extra engagement through the inner thighs. Some people find it really comfortable lying on their fronts, others find it a bit more challenging. If you have any digestive issues, sometimes it can not feel that comfortable, but in the same hat it could also be quite soothing. So just see how it feels in your crocodile. So the next move that we're going to go into is a half frog, and I think if you've got fairly open hips, you might want a prop for this. So if you've got a cushion or a brick or a rolled up towel, that's going to be super useful at this point. Don't worry if you haven't, you can just take a nice passive half frog instead. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our prop. I'm going to start on the left side. I want you to bring your left knee so it's level with your left hip. Okay, we're going to flex the left foot. So you've got the right angle at the ankle, a right angle at the knee, and a right angle at the hip. Okay, now if this feels like enough through your left hip, then that's fine. Just let the forehead rest on the hands. If you think you'd like to take the block underneath the knee, that just means that you're going to have to work a little bit harder to get that left hip down towards the ground. So we're going to be working with the breath here, trying to bring that left hip down towards the earth. Now the connection we need to find is on the inside of the ankle and the inside of the knee. So pressing down hard activates that left leg. Okay, so you can relax the right leg, you can relax the face, relax the jaw, let the shoulders soften. And breathing deeply into the hip flexors here. So really stretching the entire front of the body on that left side. Well done. Keep pressing hard through that knee and the ankle. You can move the leg around a little bit until you find a juicier bit. That works for you. Well done. 2 more breaths. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, so doing what you need in order to release that left leg. Maybe stretching out the left leg behind you. If you want to use your prop on the other side, you know what you're doing with it now. You're going to draw the right knee up towards the right hip. So right angle at ankle, knee and hip, aiming to bring this right hip this time down towards the earth. So again, if you wanted to use the prop underneath, then you can do. Letting the back of the neck remain nice and long so the spine feels long. The whole of the left side of the body feels long. And we've got this really juicy hip opener on the right side. Really submitting into this pose. Letting all of the muscles in the face soften, all the way down the jaw. Letting your eyes rest. Keep using that exhale, press down a little bit harder. As you press, you'll feel the activity in the groin. Well done. So we get all this activity, you see, by this muscular engagement, and then we relax. Okay, well done. One more breath. Awesome. Releasing from there. Slowly extending the right leg back, and just give yourself the opportunity to roll from one side to the other. Just let the hips roll to the left, to the right. Perfect. Draw the hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to press back through down dog, through tabletop into down dog. So inhale, press into the hands. Nice work. Bring the knees underneath the hips, then tuck in the toes, lifting the sit bones high, and taking a little stretch out there. We're going to move into a forward fold from seated. So you might want to get your towel, your strap. You don't need these, but if they're there and you want to use them, that's quite a nice addition to this pose. So walking the feet forwards, just see how the hamstrings feel if you keep the legs fairly straight. Nice slow movement forwards, and then dropping the sit bones down to the floor and extending the legs. So we're going to take the legs directly out in front. You might want to lift up a little bit and replant the sit bones down. If you are using some sort of strap, you can take them around the balls of the feet. You might want to keep your feet at hip distance apart. Some people like to bring their legs together. So see what feels comfortable for you. And don't forget, you can always have a knee bend here. Don't feel that you have to straighten out those legs at all. Okay, you might even want to lift up the arms, inhale, and then really lifting the belly up and over an imaginary bar in front of the hips. That's going to encourage you to lengthen into the lower back so you can reach forwards. You might bring the hands to the floor. If you can't quite make it to the toes, you can hold on to a strap. And then using the breath, you might want to walk the sit bones away once you get a bit more comfortable here. Really nice one for digestion. Really good for anxiety busting as well. So trying to find a lovely long spine, letting the shoulders move down towards the sit bones, towards the hips. Maybe straightening out the legs a little bit more. So really breathing space into the back body. When we feel like you can't move much more from the hips, you might gently want to release the head down. So it does intensify the pose. Just go steady. If you want to take this into a really super relaxing forward fold, just give the knees loads of knee bend and just let yourself flop down between the knees. So there's different options, different activity levels, depending on how you're feeling tonight and during this session. So in a minute, we're going to come down onto our backs just to finish off with our last few poses. We've got a happy baby, a nice reclined twist and butterfly. Maybe bringing a block or towel underneath the hips. If you've got one here in front of you, nice and accessible, grab it whilst we're sitting up. And then on your next breath in, start to lift up. Find that lovely length again. Release your bind if you have one. And then taking your way down towards the ground. You can just pop your bricks to one side, your straps to one side. We're rolling down onto the a really lovely connection with the spine on the ground. And then taking the peace sign finger around the big toes, or maybe the hands around the outside of the feet. We're to tuck the chin to the chest slightly and feel that lovely length through the back of the neck, and then float the feet up towards the ceiling on that breath in. So fill the body, and then just have a think about your hips and shoulders. Do you feel like you're moving to one side? I want you to feel steady in your happy baby, and then as you exhale, start to draw the knees down towards the earth. So you can use the arms here a little bit to help you with that pull down, that sensation of the knees moving just outside the shoulders. We are engaging the core a little bit here, so stop us rolling from side to side, unless, of course, you do want to roll, in which case it can be a nice opportunity to give yourself a spinal massage. But again, using the abdominals just so we don't roll all the way over. It might feel nice on your spine, it might not. Nice steady breaths. Really letting yourself soften into this pose. For another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Releasing your feet to your toes, just floating the knees down towards the ground. We're going to extend our left leg towards the front edge of our mat and draw the right knee in here. So again, just like we did in that standing pose earlier on in the section, we're going to draw the right knee right into the chest, really squeezing into the hip flexors. Let the shoulders be heavy. And then when you feel ready, take the left hand onto the right knee, take the right hand out to the side, and then on your breath out, start to roll over onto your left hand side. I'm just going to move the mic out of the way so I don't roll onto it. So you can keep the left hand on the top knee if you want. It just adds a bit of gravitas to it. You don't have to push on the leg. And you can always turn the gaze over towards the right. If you're wanting to stay here for quite a while and the knee wasn't down on the ground, you can always pad by using a brick to support that top knee or a rolled up towel. But just try and keep this right shoulder grounded here. So if you think again about what's happening in the spine, you're getting those rotating vertebrae, keeping our spine nice and flexible. For another 3, 2, and 1. Really nice job, everyone. Well done. Give your abs a little squeeze as you come back to center. And then let's extend away with the right leg. Drawing in with the left knee. Give yourself a little hug again. See if you can extend that right leg by bringing the toes to the ceiling and engaging the quads just as you draw the knee in. This is wind relieving pose. Transitioning here into a spinal twist. So taking the right hand onto the left knee, left arm coming out, inhale, and then slowly moving over to the other side. Left shoulder stays heavy, maybe turning the gaze over towards the left. You might notice an imbalance in your hips. You might feel much more comfortable on one side than the other. But over time, we're working to even up both sides of the body. So stretching out through the abs here as you twist through the belly. Also great for your digestion as well, great for gut health. Good for massaging your internal organs, your liver and your kidneys, keeping them working nice as well. So I'm just nearing our Shavasana now. Final breath, inhale. And exhale, rolling back to center. So I'm going to let you choose here. You can grab the brick if you like. You might want to pop it underneath the hips or a rolled up towel, whatever you've got. Bringing the soles of the feet together. And you can end your session here in your reclined cobbler's pose or reclined butterfly, with or without that lift of the hips. I always think it's quite nice. Or you might want to just let both legs stretch out long. Let the palms come up towards the ceiling. Finding your corpse pose. Lovely flowing session tonight. Well done. Really lovely to see you all here practicing. I hope you feel good as a result of your session today. Full steady breath in and out. Staying down in your final resting pose. Just breathing into the body. And the reason we stay here in Shavasana and keep that focus on the breath is it allows us to practice improving our concentration and our focus. It's a nice way to stimulate your circulation of blood around the body. Especially if you have that little lift underneath the hips. Just tuning into your breath. Just tuning into how your body feels. Letting the belly rise, letting the chest rise. Maybe taking a little pause before you release. Just letting gravity take care of the body. Just keeping that nice, deep, steady breath. Let your body be pliable, let it surrender. I'm just going to take one more breath here. And release. From there, you might want to start just giving your fingers and toes a little bit of a wiggle. Just bringing some life back to the body. Maybe circling the wrists, circling the ankles. Just keeping the eyes closed. And then gently rolling onto your side. Into that nice, comforting fetal position. And when you feel ready to lift out of that position, you can use your top hand to press down into the earth, giving yourself that assistance to come up to seated. Taking a seat on the sit bones or into a kneeling position, whatever feels comfortable. Sitting up tall through the spine and taking a final deep breath in through the nose. Fingertips coming together, palms coming together. Releasing. Bringing the hands to your beautiful heart and taking a little bow from there. Thanks so much for coming to practice with me this evening. And I'll see you all soon. Namaste. Have a beautiful rest of your evening. Take care.